Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Marty Winners here. Today I'm going to be replacing the air filters on my Tenere 700. I went to my local bike shop last week and purchased the Funnelweb air filters. There's been a lot of talk online about Funnelweb air filters, and especially the comparing of the Funnelweb with other brands like Unifilter and also the stock standard filters. So yeah, forked out, and I thought I'd have a bit of a go and see if they make a bit of a difference to the bike. I'm going to be riding in a lot of dusty conditions over the next 6 months, so I want to make sure that I can sort of stop all the dust getting into the motor, as much dust as I possibly can. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to sort of go through it step by step, try to keep it fairly basic. It's not going to be a full review of the filters or anything like that, but I will have a look at the original filters and see what's happened. Now the bike has been serviced only about 1,000 kilometers ago, and it's now done just over 9,500 k's, so about 8,500 k's I had a full shop service. And the reason I did that is I had a couple of heavy rides coming up in the Australian Outback, and I wanted to make sure that they were okay. Thankfully I was transporting the bike up to the riding place on trailer, so it's only clocked up about 1,000 kilometers on both rides. So anyway, that aside, let's go and have a look at the bike. Let's have a look at the filters and have a look at the original spec filters and see what's happening in there. Alrighty, so here we have the filters that I purchased. This is the bottom filter that replaces the OEM filter, so that's going to go in underneath here. And the pre-filter, that one there, which is going to sit on top. So with the kit, you get virtually everything you need to do the job, except for the oil itself for oiling the filter, pre-oiling it. They don't come pre-oiled, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, that's what it is. They do supply some gloves, so anyone who's used filter oil knows quite sticky stuff, and yeah, hard to get off your hands. So we'll be doing all that there. But they've got some pretty good instructions on that on the bag. So this one here is a FWF 505 Yamaha XTC 690 filter, and this one here FWF 511 XTC 690 airbox pre-filter or pre-cleaner. So yeah, pretty straightforward. So in these things they say they got twice the surface area. Yeah, you see that with the spider sort of thing, this webby thing that sits on top. It's a bit like a big pineapple sort of thing. So generally you're not going to get more air intake because the actual air intake area is still the same. So you're not modifying any of that. But what you will get is a larger area to catch the dust on the dirt on there. So yeah, so it is going to reduce your maintenance and stuff like that. So yeah, these are Funnelweb filters, www.funnelwebfilter.com.au, and they are Australian made, which is absolute bonus. So what I pay for these, so this is the main filter, so $79.50, and this one here is $49.95. So that's of August 2022 in Australia. So yeah, so pretty straightforward. Some information on the back, and pretty straightforward sort of information. I don't know if we can see this here. What do we got? Fill, pour approximately 200 to 250 mils of filter oil into the bag. So you fill it up to this line here. They've got this little line here. Okay, chuck your filter in. With the bag open, just squeeze it. Squeeze it until all the yellow's gone from the filter, so you can just see oil all over it. Then put it back in, seal it down, done, go for a ride. Too easy. And the top one's fairly straightforward as well. With this part here, the pre-filter, you've got to do a little bit of a modification to the airbox itself, which is fairly straightforward. Let's chuck that aside. So with the seat taken off, we're going to take these 1, 2, 3, 4 screws out, and that'll give us access to the main air filter area. Before we do that, just have a bit of a look through here. You can see how much dust has been accumulating around here. It's like as if it sort of sucks the dust up and it swirls around in this area here. Here's the electrical area. Look at how much dust is accumulated here. So yeah, I think the pre-filter is a good investment. It's going to give you that little bit of extra insurance. So in saying that, let's take this off, take the 4 screws off and have a look in there. So that's the 4 screws out. Let's take them off and have a bit of a look. Rightio. Looking down into the filter. Yeah, it's doing its job for sure. That'll be a standard OEM filter there. And the main piece, snorkel. See dust around the edge. Yeah, still seems to have worked. I'm actually quite surprised that there's not a rubber seal going around there in that little track there. Whether it's been missed or not, I don't know. Comment down below if you think there should be a seal there. But yeah, it just seems a bit strange that that's there and I'm not seeing a rubber seal anywhere there. So alright, so we're going to take this apart. Here's the filter itself coming out. Look down there. It's a bit of liquid there. I dare say that's probably just grease, just the actual filter oil. Yes, the filter oil is tacky, it's sticky, which means it's been doing its job. Looks pretty good. I'm a bit concerned that, let me get my pointer, that there, that sits on there, so I don't think it's going to wear through it, but it certainly has made a fair bit of an indentation there. I think over time it's probably going to break a hole through there. Going around the edge of the filter, yeah, it looks like it's been doing its job. The filter itself, the dust from the filter is only coming up about halfway, so obviously, you know, it's going through the snorkel and the filter's dropping down and being caught in the bottom of the air filter and not coming up higher. So in doing this, that's going to be thrown away. Alrighty, next step is to alter this. Okay, so snorkel's out. So what we've got to do is take the actual snorkel off the main base plate there. So there's two tabs, one there and one over the other side, and I've sort of started pulling them off. So all you've got to do is put them up like that, and that one up, and then drag the snorkel out from the base plate. This is all one piece through here. So I've just tucked the side out there, pulled it out. So I'll drag that out. There we have it, it's out. Don't throw that away, put it into your kit somewhere because you might be coming back to it in the future. So we don't need that at this stage, so yep. So we're going to be focusing on this area here now. So I'm going to give this a bit of a clean up, all the box and all that sort of stuff before I look at installing any air filters. So the pre-filter is just going to slot straight down into that. Alrighty, so I've given that plate there a bit of a clean up, nothing too fancy, more sort of focus on the inside part of it. And now we're going to pull this apart and see what's inside the bag. Gloves, air filter, very well made. Don't think nothing else in the bag. Don't normally wear gloves. I usually just get my fingers, hands covered in oil and grease and shit like that, and then get the old fuel out and clean them up. But we've been supplied with the gloves, so let's do it. Alrighty, let's get into it. There's one thing I should have said to you, and on the packaging you've got a QR code. Now if you scan that code there, it'll give you some more instructions on how to do this job here. So I've got the oil in there, pre-filter. There's the filter itself. You leave the top open, gloves on. You more need the gloves for afterwards when you take this out and put it in the bike, because you've got it in the bag, so you're going to be protecting your hands. So all you do here is just squish it around, make sure the filter itself gets adequately covered. I can see it's starting to pick up the oil. I'm just going to reach in there and just flip it over so I can get some good cover. I like to squish it down on the bench a bit of old CPR. I can see inside it, it's all going blue. It tells me the filter oil is going through there. It's good. Bunch it together. I'm just going to add a little bit more to that. See if I can drop it into the guts of it. Yeah, got it in. So yeah, I'm still not happy with it. Still not enough coverage there. On the side there, it's still yellow. So I'll give it a little bit more. Pump it through. Yeah, it's looking pretty good now. The filters are quite robust, so they'll take all this torment. So this is obviously the main filter. I won't go through all this with the pre-filter. I'll just do it. So I think that's pretty close. Let's bring it out. Have a look. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm just going to drop it in a little bit more because there's still a bit of yellow around there. I need to see that blue all around. I'll put it in upside down. Yeah, that's not too bad. Just pushing to the top there. And that's good to go. So let's take it over to the bike. I'm just being very gentle here because I've got all over my gloves now and I don't want to get it over the GoPro. So I can't point to it, but you can see that little duvelac that sits down the bottom there, that little piece that juts out. That's going to go to the left side of your bike. So going down, hopefully I'm getting the angles right here. Going down, go in under the wiring there, and we've got it in place. Okay, just make sure that's well bedded there on the recesses that are around there. Now I'm happy with that. I'm going to do a bit more work around just to get the oil up top there. Just massage it around a little bit like that. Okay, well, I'm up to the point where I'm putting this plate onto it. It's all been oiled up. I'm happy with that. So putting this on, you have to have this around the right way. So if looking at it, see if I can just balance it there. So that's your front, that's your rear. So front of the bike, rear of the bike. That's a little bit higher than the back because that juts up there. That's lower. Pretty straightforward. Slide it in, get it into position, and then put your 4 screws in. So, and when I do up the screws, I tend to do this one up first, that one, and that. So do it in sort of a pattern there and try to get a sort of even pressure there. The good thing about these filters is once they bed in, you can see just around the edge there, there's a bit of foam sticking out. So the foam comes right up around the side of this plate here and gives you that little bit of extra protection. Once we've got that in, we can then put the top filter on. So before I go chucking this pre-filter in, I haven't oiled it yet, just have a quick look at it. So there we have the sort of the, what do we call it, the Funnelweb effect. I call it a pineapple. So you've got that nice large surface to catch any dust before it gets to the main filter. Then you've got two runs of filter down here. This is your base filter here. Then you've got this stuff here. It's a bit like one of the old style sort of fuel filters and that. So it's got to get through that, then get through that to get to your main filter. Chances of getting through that is very, very slim. But if it does, at least that there will probably pull it up. And because that's nice and coarse, it'll still give you some really good airflow into your airbox. Some people don't actually pre-oil this pre-filter. It's up to you. This can go any way around. It's got little holes in it there, which will line up with these holes here. Shove down. Just move it around a little bit until you feel it lock onto those 2 little tabs. These little things here. Line the holes up. Do it again. And there you have it. All right, that's locked in place. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to give this a bit of a clean up just around here before we go any further, because I know when I next come to pull all this apart, it's going to be bloody messy. All right, guys, well, back to me. Thanks for that. Thanks for watching. Once again, please subscribe. Yeah, and like and share the page. There's lots of information out there on these filters. This is the Funnelweb filter, and I'll do a bit of a review in about 5,000 Ks. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of a cough up. Just getting over COVID, and the air's starting to get a little bit cool here in South Australia. All right, guys. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.